What's up everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing a review on the CL-19. Now this is the new rifle they recently added into this game. I was really hoping this thing was going to be nasty, especially since you unlock it pretty late at level 43, and overall this gun kind of underperforms. Definitely would not put it in S tier meta category rifle. It's more of like a B tier weapon, to be honest. It's not terrible, you can make it work, but you are kind of handicapping yourself by using it. I think they will end up buffing this thing for sure. It's not that the gun itself is bad, it's just the barrels and attachments available on it kind of leave it to be configured in a way that isn't really optimized. Basically gets outperformed by every other rifle available. You really are kind of handicapping yourself by using it. You still may want to give it a try. I have a build for you in the description, and without wasting any more time, let's just get into why this thing is kind of underperforming at the moment. Okay, so let's take a look at the CL-19. Now there's two things I noticed about this gun. One, you don't want to build it for range. You can go ahead and try and use it and still have fun, but you're just seriously handicapping yourself if you try to build this thing out for range. Reason being, there's limited barrels and limited rear grips as well as limited mags. So a lot of the attachments where you can kind of rely on range and handling, they're not available. Not only that, but this gun also happens to have a default range of 27, which for rifles is second worst in class. The worst is the AS Val, which kind of is just such a quirky gun to begin with. I don't even really count it, but if you're gonna count all rifles in this game, the AS Val has the worst at 20. But every other gun, the default range is pretty much 30. QBZ default range is even 40. SSG default range I think is 40 as well, and the CAR 15 default range is like 30. Oh geez, I think it's like 35 or something. So if you're going for a range build, there's way better options. Picking the second worst in class for range to try to build a range build, you're just handicapping yourself. Now you can do it and still have fun, but it's not gonna perform at its best. So these default stats are really important, and I actually did a video on this. If you guys are looking and want to learn how to build assault rifles in this game, I'll put the link on screen right now, and that's a definitive guide on how to kind of approach building guns in this game, specifically assault rifles. I'll probably do the same video for snipers, SMGs, and other classes of weapon, okay? But this gun is kind of targeted for a close mid-range rifle, okay? Now, when we go ahead and look at the attachments, like I said, there's really only two barrels. This one, short barrel, and it really helps close range performance, as you can see. Does a significant buff to control, handling, and accuracy, which are the three most important stats for close range, aside from rate of fire. And then the long barrel, another reason why it's just not good for range. It nerfs handling by 7, and it only buffs the range to 31, so 1 more than the starting value of the other guns. So that means your gun would have a 31 meter range, already 333 millisecond ADS time. It's terrible. It's really bad. So I would just avoid this gun for range at all costs. I came up with like 3 builds so far. So here's a range build just to show you guys, right? This is like how I would build this gun for range. As you can see, it's just mid. It's mid. 33 meter range, and the ADS time, boom, 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 321. Pretty terrible. I did a build the other day of a QBZ with like a 43 meter range, and I think it's a 260 ADS time. So it's just, there's no reason to really try to build this thing for range. Now you can also throw on the gas block, which helps some of these stats right here. So help my handling and stuff. It would go down to 302 with the gas block, but the gas block nerfs my rate of fire. So it takes it from like 70 something to 660. So I'll have these 3 loadouts in the description, okay? So I'll call the range one the range build. Now the one that I showed you the gameplay of, some of the clips in the beginning of the video, that was this build right here. And this build was kind of my first attempt at realizing this gun is almost identical to the SMG45. I'll put the stats on screen right now of my CL-19 compared to the SMG45, and it's pretty crazy how close these guns are. Built SMG45 and the built CL-19, very similar. The only difference is like 100 meter, or excuse me, the only difference is like 100 RPM in the rate of fire, and then the mag size. So the SMG45 has a 45 mag. This gun, it's either a 30 or 60. and I'm not going to use the 60 because it destroys handling. So that is one thing I realized, and this gun's pretty fun to use at that like mid-range, kind of like how you would the SMG45. Now there's also one other loadout that I did where I call it I just call it the SMG45. And what I did with this one was I threw on the gas block that drops the rate of fire down to 660, which is still a bit higher than the SMG45. Now, the reason why this is cool is because it's not available for assault, and then the CL-19 is not available for any other class aside for assault. So you can kind of play assault now with a SMG45 style gun. So it actually is pretty cool. And that's how I would recommend building this gun. I would avoid the long range. I would definitely go for a kind of long range SMG style build, which would be a mid close range AR build. Okay, so that's exactly what this is. Hits for 26 at 29 meters. When you hop into the range, let's see here, gun's pretty good. Recoil's a bit bouncy on this thing, and it's not even really the recoil, it's more so just the spray pattern. I'll show you guys that in a second right here. I just want to see if I can hit pretty good shot. So you can see it kind of wobbles, boom, 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 crazy. And that is not really horizontal recoil. It's more so just, you can see how these bullets, you know, you can take the average and it's just going to be that line right there, right down the middle. But if you look at each individual shot, if you look at this is to the left a little bit, right? And then you see the second one, it goes off to the right. And then the third one, it goes back. So each bullet kind of bounces, and that's just how the gun handles. You can try to compensate for it with horizontal. So like if I threw on a secret order, like the bevel grip, and then if we take off the whisper and throw on the bastion, which does even more horizontal control. So now our gun's kind of like maxed out for horizontal, and you can see these good bullets are off center, like the first, second, third kind of goes back, and then right here it bounces a little, so the gun's just going to be a bit bouncy. And when you go in the range, I'm just pulling straight down. You can see how it's just a bit bouncy. That's just the way the gun handles. So overall, this gun's pretty fun. I'd probably put it at like a B tier weapon right now. It's cool to use because it's a good option for an off meta weapon. Like if you're just looking to use something fun and unique and you don't see a whole lot, this is a good option for it. But if you're really trying to just like win every single gunfight you get into, this isn't the gun to use. If you're really trying to perform your best close range or long range, there's better options for both than this gun. Okay, so overall, that's my opinions on the CL-19 right now. It's fun, it's unique, it's cool to use because you don't see it a whole lot, but it's not the best. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments and what guns you want to see next. Have a good one.